Hello friends, this is Chandu. Welcome to all. And this video we go to see about historical background of Indian Constitution. Let's start. Before independence, India was divided into two main entities: the British India, which consisted of 11 provinces, and the princely states ruled by the Indian princes under the subsidiary line policy. The two entities emerged together to form the India Union. But many of legacy systems in British India are followed even now. The historical underpinnings and evolution of Indian Constitution can be traced to many regulations and acts passed before Indian independence. Indian democracy is a parliamentary form of democracy where the executives are responsible to the parliament. The parliament has two houses. The first one Lok Sabha and other one is Rajya Sabha. Also the type of governance is federal, that is there is a separate executive and legislature at a state and central levels. We also have self-governance at local governments level. All these systems owe their legacy to the British administration. And our next topic, constitutional development. Before this going to this topic, we known about some points about British government. We know Britishers came India around 600 AD for trade and commerce, and they established East India Company, exclude trade from Britain. And then going to constitutional development, the Constitution of India adapted the Indian Constitution Constituent Assembly 1949 was not absolutely new. It was to a great extent influenced by the Government of Indian Act 1935. The foundation of the British rule was laid in 600 AD through the establishment of East India Company in England under the Charter of Queen Elizabeth. The company acquired control over Bengal in 1765, that is known as the Diwani rights from India. The period from 1765 to 1772 is called the dual government policy, a dual government. The landmarks in the development of a constitution during the British rule are explained below in the conical order. Before going to those topics, we have three level of stages are there. Number one is the dual government ruling, from 1765 to 1772, and second one is company rule 1773 to 1858, and third crown rule 1858 1947. When was the Sipahi mutiny was ended? 1857. Then we started the crown rule from in India. And then going to the conical order, important landmarks development in constitution. The first one is Regulating Act of 1773. These features are the first step taken by the British Parliament to control and regulate the affairs of the East India Company in India. It is designed the Governor of Bengal as the Governor General of Bengal, as Fort William as the Governor General of Bengal at the time. Warren Hastings became the first Governor General of Bengal. It is subordinate to the Governor General of Bombay and Madras to the Governor General of Bengal. It executes the Council of Generals. Council of General was established of 4 members. It is subordinate to the Governors of Bombay and Madras to the Governor General of Bengal. The Supreme Court was established under this act at Fort William, as known as Calcutta, as apex of court in 1774. And also the 1781 Act of Settlement ratified the defeats of 1773 Act, ended this Regulating Act of 1773. And next one act is 1773 Acts strengthened to the control of British government, and court directors reported on the revenue and civil military affairs in India. The next important act of British India Act of 1784. We are going to the features of British India Act of 1784. British India Act distinguished between commercial and political functions of East India Company. The Court of Directors for commercial functions and the Board of Control for political affairs. There are two different functions are there. Court of Directors doing commercial functions, only, and board of controls are doing political affairs. And East India Company's territories in India were called are known as the British possession in India. Very important. The company's territories in India were called the British possession India. The British possession in India, which are known as what are the territories of East India Company. And the Governors Council were established in Madras and Bombay under this Pitt's India Act of 1784. These are the main features of Pitt's India Act of 1784. Friends, we are going to next session discussing about the important acts are there, such as Charter Act of 1813 and the Government Act of 1919, and also Simon Commission 1927 acts discussing about next session. Until stay home, stay safe. This is Chandu signing off.